How's it going, everyone? Glad to see you all here. Glad to be live and in the house. Today, for my topic, I really wanted to focus on the current state of affairs that we find ourselves in, and it's actually a was having a good conversation with a friend of mine, and we were talking kind of back and forth and discussing a lot of different things, a lot of key times and key moments throughout history. And so it just seems like right now we seem to be at one of those very interesting times, especially as they've described this year as potentially being the year of chaos, right? With everything that's kind of going on, right? Right. They potentially have our first solar flare of the year, right? With all the cell phone outages and interruptions. But also just it's an election year. There's always going to be various amounts of different types of turmoil, but also a lot of opportunity out there. But really, well, we want what I wanted to dive into is just dive into the mind game of life because life is a giant mind game, and if you get mind fucked, like you are just gonna get wiped out, taken advantage of, or you're gonna wind up basically like self sabotaging yourself. And so, one of the key things to note about the mind game of life and how to maintain a very strong, balanced, and more resilient mind is first you have to just know how to like tune out all of the noise, right? And it gets a little bit difficult, especially in this day and age where, again, we're continuously being bombarded, right? 24/7 with all sorts of noise from the world is ending to this war is going to pop up over here, or there's going to be a hunger strike over here, or this, illness is going to come out of the woodworks and kill everybody. It's like there's a constant, continual bombardment of every possible doomsday scenario and doomsday contingency. So, that can be very wearisome, as well as the fact that, you know, you tend to find and hear about the negative things that are going on in this world, right? So it's like if you spend a lot of time online, especially if you spend a lot of time like watching the news cycles, you'll see that it's pretty much all just a negative and it's all designed to depress you or make you feel like, yeah, if you take a step outside of your front door, everybody's going to be running around yelling racial slurs at each other, and then the skies turn black, and there's no hope for the future. So it's really, really, really important to know how to separate the noise from what is, yeah, a general area of concern, right? So if you're in certain parts of the world, there's news that's definitely pertaining to what's going on with your happening in your local region. Yeah, by all means, you got to stay plugged in. You want to stay, aware and informed on stuff. But for a lot of us, we hear about a lot of different things going on in other places. And again, there's nothing wrong with having empathy or being, having some sympathy for the plight of other people in other places. But oftentimes, we're ignoring things either on the home front or we're devoting too much of our own mental energy worrying about things that we have no direct impact or no direct control over. So you always got to balance out and control exactly what it is that you can control. And the first thing you can control is your own mind, as well as how you react to things. So it gets real, real easy to get sort of lost in the sauce. And it's also, important to understand just, information, the information age that we're in these days. Information is something that is out there, it's very accessible, but also the way in which it's presented to you, there's always going to be some inherent biases, right? We're humans, right? We have our own biases towards things. So you kind of want to gather your information, right, from multiple sources just to kind of sew together what kind of common threads are. So, understand as well that, the news, right, it is a manufactured product, just like anything else. And so typically that product that they're selling is fear, right? Because people will stay glued to their TVs or glued to their screens because of fear, right? You want to know what happens next, or you want some type of assurance or something. So knowing how to really just tone down the noise, unplug yourself from the noise, and be able to focus on what it is that you have direct control over. And so that kind of leads into the second point, which is knowing what your objectives are, right? Hey, what exactly are my objectives? What are my goals, right? That gives you something to aim for and stay focused on. So that way, yeah, when different things and distractions and noises are going to pop up, you're not going to vary or you're not going to stray, right? You're going to say, hey, okay, this is happening. It's, either an opportunity or, all right, it's an unfortunate circumstance or a challenge, but you do have a pathway in which you can march forward, and you have something that will keep you on task and on target and keep you from wandering or roaming or getting lost in the sauce, as they would say. So the other thing that you really want to really note and take away from as well is that I would encourage you to, the next time you're reading news or reading a story or anything like that, right? Always put yourself in the perspective of, okay, well, how is this person trying to make me feel? What exactly is it that they're trying to communicate to me, right? Are they trying to make me feel like depressed? Are they trying to make me feel hopeful and inspired? Are they trying to make me feel fearsome and worried and concerned? So, that's what you want to approach your anytime you're ingesting any type of news or information or knowledge, you want to approach it from that perspective. Because once you start breaking down the intent behind things, then you can start to see how different sources, media, or if different types of information are really trying to influence you and what direction they're trying to push you. And more often than not, they're not pushing you in a direction or influencing you in a way that's going to be constructive for yourself. So you want to make sure that you're able to analyze and break down, okay, how exactly are they trying to manipulate me? Because again, everyone's trying to manipulate you, right? Again, even someone as popular and famous and well intentioned as Tony Robbins, right? Like he's manipulating you. It's for your own good, but it's still a manipulation, right? Where it's like, hey, I'm trying to help, get you to get out of your own head and really focus on what's positive and look forward and move in that direction, right? Which is still right a manipulation, right? Because it's, hey, I'm trying to influence you to go and do a certain direction that I want you to go for. Unfortunately, right, he's looking out for some of your best interests, but there are a lot of other industries, people, and vested interests that do not have your best interests in mind, and really all they care about is just either getting your money, getting your resources, getting your time, or something else from you, right? So, again, always try and see exactly how they're trying to influence and how they're trying to manipulate you, what direction they're really trying to push you in. And then you can source out one, where you want to go for your own self, but then also two, it makes you really good and really adept at being able to spot this more and more in your everyday life, right? Where say, you're at work, right? You got the one coworker that's, hey, I want to like, invite you to this, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, there's something else coming around the corner here. Like, I don't know exactly what it is right here, but what direction you're really trying to push me in, right? So being able to sniff out people's intention, it will help you a lot in business. It'll help you a lot in personal relationships, and it'll help you kind of navigate through life in general. So that's when it comes to information and news sources specifically, it's a very, very good place to start, as well as a very, very good place to keep your practice being able to decipher things. So keeping all of that in mind, some of the common pitfalls and some of the common traps that people fall into is one, they fall into the emotional wasteland, right? Where it's just like, oh my gosh, I read all this, and this. It's like, okay, if you're constantly reading this stuff and it's continuously depressing you, change up what you're reading. Just take a break from it, because again, if you're in a you know, downward spiral that's not helping you or not constructive for you, then in reality, you're just wasting your time. And now if there's something you can actually do about it and it's inspiring you to like go forth and like, hey, you read about some unfortunate thing that happened in a village in another country, and it inspires you to go join the Peace Corps so you can actually be boots on the ground and go for and help those people directly. Great, that's amazing. More power to you. The world needs a lot more people like that. Continue to go. That's like what you want to use that as fuel, right? But if you're just sitting at home up at 3 o'clock in the morning and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is the end of the world, or everything's so depressing, what am I going to do, blah 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 blah, in this self-pity spiral, it's just again a very negative trap that's not strengthening your mind, but it's also just keeping you stuck in a rut, and it's not helping you actively get forward or get ahead or get to where it is that you want to be. So look at that. And then also you want to maintain more emotional discipline, right? So a lot of times things are talked about, or this is a more recurring subject, which I studied a lot before it became like kind of more popular in the last like couple of years. But stoicism, right? Stoicism is a very, very great thing and exercise to look into, just so that way you get in the habit of being emotionally neutral, so that way as things, come into your orbit or they come to you, you can then process them as objectively as you can, and then you can filter your emotions from there. So you want to lead with your logical processor first, and then filter your emotions through that secondarily. That way, you aren't being led or guided by your emotions entirely, as well as you're able to really suss out and again pinpoint exactly what is the intent, what is the action behind things, or what is someone trying to really get you to do, or what are they trying to get you to feel? Where do they want you to be? So, moving on to the next topic of how to unfuck your mind, which yeah, we'll probably be demonetized on this one relatively quickly, but yeah, well, whatever, it's okay. Not all of them can be earning us some a little bit of capital here. But yeah, another thing that you want to look into and really make sure that you're focused on is again surrounding yourself with very like-minded but also strong-minded people, because you don't want to be in a group of people that are very easily influenced and then just kind of go whichever direction the wind's blowing, right? That's why there's so many people, right, that whatever the political cause of the week is, right, they get all swept up in the hoo-ha and everything, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I so much care about this like this week, and then next week it's like, oh, I was told I need to care about this and now I really care about it, I'm super passionate about it, right? One, it's just not a very authentic look for yourself, especially when you're dealing with very serious people. But then also two, it just means that you really easily can get caught up and swept up in again whatever the latest trend might be. And again, these things are never in your true benefit, because if you take a look at a lot of people that constantly are about whatever cause of the week it just happens to be, they kind of go in a loop, and it's a very circular loop. So they rotate kind of between different things, and it's like, okay, well, you've rotated around a bunch of these different things, and you've had all this outrage and exhausted all this energy, but you haven't really gone anywhere, and you haven't really done anything. So, what exactly is being accomplished here, right? And so, that's where having a good circle around yourself is going to be extremely important, just because, again, we're social creatures, right? And we get influenced by the people that we're around. So, again, if you find that, yeah, you're, suddenly really caring about like a bunch of different things, like on almost a scheduled basis, where it's like, hey, every 3 weeks, like I care about something new, or every month, it's just like this is the new cause, the thing of the month, right? Then take a strong look at like, hey, who exactly am I hanging out with? Who am I spending a lot of time with? And how may they potentially be influencing me? And again, life is a mind game. And it really, if you want to get ahead, you have to be very, very strong minded. And you have to know one, how to shield your mind, but you also, two, have to know how to exercise it and use it to your advantage, right? Be able to see exactly what the best moves are going to be for you, as well as process everything in a way that you can see, okay, where in lies the opportunity in things. Because here's the thing, right? This, again, as they kind of say, right, follow the money, or again, follow the money, follow the intent, right? If you take a look and see, like, okay, this year is being told it's going to be like the year of chaos, right? It's going to be a year where things are going to get spicy, things are going to go crazy, it's going to be like all over the place, right? People are, you're being groomed or primed, right, to just expect but also just accept that, oh my gosh, there's just going to be so much craziness and insanity that I'm not going to know what to do, I'm going to get swept up in it, and it's just going to be like, please tell me, give me the solution, right? you know if someone's telling you that the sky is falling, the world is ending, but is conveniently offering you, right, an outlet or solution to prevent that, you got to be a little bit wary about it, right? Take it with a grain of salt. Be very, very analytical about, do they really have my best interest at heart when they're telling me this, right? Because the thing is that this year of chaos or whatever it is, somebody is going to profit massively off of it. Someone is going to do extremely well during this time, and they're going to seize the opportunity, and opportunities are going to be there. But if you're too caught up in the hype or the hoopla, you're going to be completely blindsided or completely blind to all the different opportunities that are going to be out there and going to be available for you. And so, again, you're just going to be kind of in the wayside with everybody else, just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe like this is happening, and I got no sense of direction or this, that, or the other. So again, understand that there are definitely opportunities for yourself. But if you don't take and seize those opportunities, you're forfeiting that opportunity and giving it to somebody else, right? And somebody else will capitalize on it and they will profit on it. So, what you should do is, again, you should embrace the news of like, hey, there's going to be like, chaos or this, that, or the other, because guess what? It just means that there's going to be opportunity. There's going to be opportunities abundantly everywhere. And again, you can't again have new growth in a forest without a forest fire, right? So again, that's it can be a highly volatile event, but at the same time, it creates a lot of brand new opportunity, right? When the ground is ripe and the ground is fertile. So you have to take a look and see what other opportunities are there out there, what can possibly be used and leveraged to help myself get as far ahead as I can, or opportunities I have with business partners or other people in my circle where we can all benefit together. So don't get blindsided and by the hype and everything, and not being able to see the opportunity. So another thing that you need to do and focus on when, especially when you want to make sure you're, unfucking your mind, is that you want to make sure that you, whatever it is that you need to do to kind of get your mind right or your mind centered so you can proceed forward with clarity, that's what you got to make sure you get into the habit of continuously doing. And it can be a daily habit, it could be a weekly habit, but you got to do that thing for yourself that keeps you very, very clear. Because when your mind is foggy and your mind is just kind of all over the place, you're not operating really at the peak efficiency or at the best of your own ability for yourself. So you're going to be tripping up over your own feet, and you're just going to be kind of like going around in a little bit of a loop, right? So when you have a place of clarity, then that's where you can really start making the best moves and maneuvers for yourself. And again, whatever that thing is you do, right? If you go to the gym and work out, right, and that gives you just a good clear state of mind, like after you've done work out, whether you go hiking, whether you do meditation, yoga, whatever your thing may be, find that thing and use it and exercise it regularly. So that way, again, you can keep your mind clear. So that way, you can again keep making the best decisions for yourself going forward, as well as continuously being able to constantly cipher through this world that we know and help and navigate it as best for yourself as you possibly can. So the last thing I want to talk about is, again, I don't like leaving things on necessarily like a negative note, or not trying to like make people feel like hopeless. Because again, I think I'm a relentless optimist, but also think that there's a lot of hope out there and a lot of opportunity. So what I'd say is that you want to make sure that, again, you just really focus on discovering the intent behind things, as well as focusing on ensuring that, hey, am I leveraging what I have from a place of clarity, or am I leveraging it from a place of confusion, anxiety, depression, or some other type of reactionary state, right? So there's nothing wrong with being proactive or being active. But now when you start finding yourself being like overly reactive, then you're trying to maneuver from a place of imbalance, right? So if you're in a boxing match, right, and then your opponent lunges forward and you try to swing, but you're taking two steps back, right? You're not going to have a very effective punch, right? Because again, you're off balance, your energy is already carrying you backwards, and you're just trying to push something out there that again winds up putting you in a much worse position. And then you start to stumble, and it just leaves you open for attack, right? You always want to stay grounded. So think of your mind that way, right? So if your mind's in a boxing match, right? Are you getting punched around and you're not covering, you're not keeping your arms up so your sides are exposed? Are you not planted? Are you not able to effectively make a strike from a different range? Or are you, constantly just going at every head fake and reacting to every little nod and every move that your opponent's making? So now you're constantly off balance and you're just continuously trying to guess what's happening. Keep yourself focused, keep yourself planted, but also make sure you invest in that self care so that way you can keep your mind clear. So that's really the main topic of what wanted to cover today, for all you guys. And again, I know it's can be a bit of a tumultuous time, but again, there's always tumultuous times throughout all of history. this is no different, no exception. Like, there's always going to be ups and there's always going to be downs. So the real thing is that there is going to be opportunity, and there's going to be opportunity everywhere. And if you're interested in learning about some of these opportunities specifically, as it pertains to this year, then definitely would highly encourage you guys to come in and join the Minute Now community. These are the types of topics and things that we're continuously discussing, but also are continuously developing action plans around. So I myself actually hosted a members only webinar focused specifically on how to make the most out of this year specifically, and what unique opportunities are going to be presenting themselves for this year specifically. So, to have insight into that, but as well as be able to bounce ideas off of other sharp minds, as well as figure out and curtail a real action plan for yourself. Would highly encourage you to check out the community, check out the link down there. Come hop in, because again, we got a great group of guys in there, and everyone's very sharp, very focused, but also very dedicated and committed to ensuring that they are staying on top of one, their game, but also two, leveraging the resources that are in there, from the knowledge that we all have to just, again, the general support. Because it's great when you can share your wins, but it's also immensely better when you can debrief from your losses, as well as just, hey, get a little bit of encouragement there too, right? Because sucks when you have a loss and it's just you on yourself in the corner. But hey, if you got some good coaches in your corner, that'd be like, hey, all right, yeah, this sucks, we've all been there, here's what we've done to get over it, but also, like, we reviewed your tape, here's a couple things for that can be some good pointers for you to help you get back on your feet and bounce back stronger. Again, that just makes you much more effective as a whole. And again, we just, I don't know, we love seeing people win, so that's kind of our big thing, is that, yeah, we do plenty of cool stuff, but like, we love helping people out and love helping see people win. So for us, we just enjoy really being that resource for folks. So yeah, definitely check out the Mid of Now community. Thank you everybody that is here on the stream. And then, for everybody else that watches the replay, definitely, appreciate the views. But, again, stay focused, keep your mind clear, and you'll be all right. But that's all I got for you guys today. So have a kick-ass rest of the day, and look forward to seeing what opportunities you guys are able to capitalize on and seize in 2024. All right, I'm out.